Hello, and welcome to another episode of In the Arcade. In tonight's episode, I'd love to show off my current project, the MVSX Pro Edition. This MVSX Pro has real arcade hardware built into the control deck, accepts genuine MVS cartridges, and runs on an original MVS arcade board, all while producing the best MVS experience I've ever had, including superior sound quality, razor-sharp pixel-perfect 4:3 resolution, and all with zero delay. Okay, so this is the inside. You can see that this is the bass shaker. It hasn't shaken this yet. This is just audio. This is going into the actual volume rocker that's on the control deck itself, and it just controls the audio. I desoldered the potentiometer that was on this board and just broke it out using these wires so that I can mount it on the control deck. And now I can control the audio from the control deck, even though it's not the original MVSX hardware. Now, because there's a bass shaker inside of here, pretty much everything inside of here is sitting on foam. There's like 1/4-inch thick foam, which the MVS is sitting on top of, so it doesn't rattle or vibrate. The power brick, which is over here, is also, as you can probably see, there's that gray foam. That's what it is. It's everything's pretty much sitting on that, and there's no vibrations whatsoever whenever it's actually playing. Okay, so here's a closer look at the control deck underneath. You can see that the Sanwa joysticks and the Suzo hat buttons are all specially wired into these DV15 connectors, which plug directly into the front of the C-Box, the MVS. Now, the Sanwa sticks needed very special attention as far as the wiring goes for the up, down, left, right. Every single tutorial that I have found online has been wrong, or either that or I just got a bunch of weird different Sanwa JLFs. I don't know, I just buy them from Amazon in a 2-pack. I have purchased them several times, and every time I've tried to wire them exactly how people say, by using the pin numbers even, not even the colors of the wires coming out, they were just completely wrong. So yeah, it took a little bit of reverse engineering, but I did get it to work. You know, it's very frustrating getting these stupid things to work. I prefer the joysticks that have the buttons that you can put the connectors directly into, but you know, the Sanwa is kind of like the de facto standard, it seems, especially for fighting games, so that's why I went with those. I did not change these buttons up here. These are the MVSX original hardware buttons for select and start, just simply because there was nothing wrong with them. I barely ever touched them. And yeah, so the speakers, these two speakers, these are project speakers, DIY project speakers. They're a high range, which means they could do like low bass sound and they could do high, and they sound really good, actually. They're wired directly into the amplifier in the back, which we'll take a look at in a second. And then, yeah, so this right here is the potentiometer that's going to change the volume. As you see there, you did hear some vibrating because these are just sitting here. But yeah, this is just heat shrink tubing, and all the wires, like I said, the 6 wires that came out of the potentiometer, I just used desoldering braid and took them off of this board right here, and then broke them out and soldered in these wires here. I have a headphone jack that's coming that I'm going to drill into the front somewhere, probably on the first player side here, and I have a splitter that's also coming. That's going to be a 3.5mm basic splitter. So just like the regular MVS, you could plug your headphones in, then turn down the speakers, and the audio that's coming into the headphones is pretty much directly from the LCD controller board. Okay, so moving on to the rear, you can see that I have these two 4-inch Pioneer speakers, which sound absolutely amazing. They are crystal clear, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I got perfect sound out of the C-Box in just a second. I mounted this fan on the back here and carved a 4-inch hole, as you'll see when I open the door, for heat management. I'm fairly certain I lost an OSSC in this project due to heat. It overheated. The OSSC is absolutely a piece of garbage. It's manufactured like garbage, but it is it's an absolute necessity to get your line multiplayer to get pixel perfect on any screen. With older hardware, you're definitely going to need it, unfortunately, so you have to baby the crap out of it. So I put this on here. So far, all of the heat. You could really tell the heat is all just being sucked out of here. The heat's going to rise from all the components and come off the back of the LCD, and it's all just being sucked right out. I left this hole on the bottom here on purpose just so these cables could dangle out of here. There's technically only one single cable coming out of the back of my MVSX, and that is the power cable. All of these I could pretty much like hide inside there, stuff inside there. They're just the cables coming off the back of the C-box. And yeah, so that's it. This hole right here is nice because the fan's going to draw in cool air, and it's going to move the cool air over top of the components and then pull it out of the back once the heat rises. So let's go ahead and open it up. You can see the first thing is I have my OSSC remote mounted right here on the door. I never had any reason to use it, but I just figured I'd stuff it inside of there. This is the controller for the fan. I just pretty much always have it on high. I've mounted everything inside of here as neatly as I could. There's a ton of wires and cables, but I'm not sure what I could do about that besides cut all of them and make them much shorter, which seems like a severe pain in the ass, but it's working. I'm not going to mess with it right now. It's working perfectly fine. This project started out with just this, which is the LCD controller board. I got this off of Amazon. I'll drop a link to that in the description of this video. And this is taking the signal out of the LCD right here. And well, it's actually taking the signal it's taking the signal from the OSSC via HDMI, and it's putting it in directly into the LCD itself. It's also taking the audio from HDMI and putting it into this port, which is going to go to a splitter. One's going to go directly to the amp, the other one's going to go to the headphone port itself, so that whenever I plug in headphones in the front, just like regular MVS, I remember it did play out of the speakers, even if you did use headphones. But you can just turn the volume knob down and basically turn off the external volume completely and still use the volume in your headphones, which is rather cool. This is the OSSC, the line multiplier. This is the star of the show, the MVS C box. Yeah, it's super easy to change the cartridges. I'll show you how to do that in a second. This right here is a power brick. This is powering a couple of things. This is powering it has USB on the top here. It is powering the right here, the LCD controller board, and also the new LED that I put into the marquee. That's a brand new LED bar that's inside of there. It's much nicer. It's super uniform. This is the really crappy amplifier. The audio coming in is 3.5 millimeter. It does have, the reason why I have it is because it does have a subwoofer input, which is the bass shaker is going directly into the subwoofer input. The bass shaker does not produce any sound, by the way. It just vibrates. It's kind of like the vibrate mechanism inside of your cell phone, just much, much bigger. So, because of the bass shaker, like I said, all of this stuff in here is resting on top of 1/4-inch foam, so it's not vibrating all over the place like that Samurai Showdown 5 Perfect. This guy right here, this cartridge right here. Whenever this starts up, it plays that boom, boom, boom sound, right? And it was vibrating everything. That game seems to have the deepest bass out of all the MVS cartridges that I have, which is crazy, right? This right here, I believe, is powering either the C-Box or the OSSC. And then I have everything in here. Nothing in here is not being used. Everything's powering something or everything's wired up somehow. So I have a SCART cable that's coming out of the back of the C-Box. And I have the audio from the SCART cable. Like I have that special SCART cable that's like wired in. So that the signal, the actual video signal and the audio is going into the OSSC through the SCART, which is on the bottom here, and coming out via HDMI. So I had a severe issue with audio. Whenever I have a cable that's RCA that goes directly to 3.5 millimeter. If I did that and plugged it into like one of those speaker bars or like directly into the amp or something, the screen would have these waves of pixels that would just go up, and it was annoying and looked like trash. But if I use this cable and I guess filter the signal coming out of here with this cable, I don't get that. So that's the reason why I have this weird wiring system. Rather than go directly into the amplifier from here, I had to like kind of jump through hoops just to make the picture on the LCD look much better. I don't know why those waves of pixels were coming up. I've seen that before in my AES, and it turned out to be a bad power supply. So I tried different power supplies and everything you see in here, and it couldn't get that wave of pixels to go away. It doesn't bother me in any way. The sound's super awesome. A second thing I'd like to say about the sound is I had to go into the OSSC, I had to go into my Neo Geo settings, and I had to actually turn the sound all the way down to -12 decibels because the sound was distorted coming out of the speakers. It was like there was like a distortion filter, like somebody, you know, like from like an electric guitar amplifier or something. It was really bad. Turning it all the way down to negative 12 decibels, the signal coming out of here, or I'm sorry, coming out of the OSSC into here, and then into here, I was able to control the volume from here, and there's zero distortion. The sound is crystal clear. It's super loud with the bass shaker. It rumbles the table, my dining room, my house, everything. It's super awesome. I've never had any type of gaming device in my house before that sounded this incredible. So yeah, so this is the inside of the MVSX. This is my MVSX. I'm going to close the door here. I built this door out of a piece of, I think, blackboard and whiteboard that I just bought from Lowe's and just sawed it off, and you know, I screwed in these hinges here. Probably saw the hinges when I opened it up. I just bolt those in, and yeah, everything is set in there perfectly fine. I guess now I'll show you how I changed the game. Okay, so taking a closer look at the control deck, this is the original MVSX control deck. I like it. I kind of like it, even though it's kind of small. Whenever I'm playing, you know, my hand's kind of here. A lot of people complained about that because of this right here, but I found that just resting my hand on it or next to it, it's perfectly fine. It's actually kind of comfortable. These are the Sanwa JLFs. They do have an extender piece, which I'll drop a link in Amazon in the description. So they are slightly taller, which means the sheaths here, as you see, I actually had to buy 2 for each and cut them so that they extended all the way up, the black sheath that you see here. This is a regular dust cover that came with the sheath. I will put the link in the description for those also. They're also from Amazon. These buttons I got from one of my viewers. Thank you so much. Trayer24 gave me the idea to put these caps on here, which is awesome because I'll never use those buttons. And yeah, that's it. The potentiometer, like I said, this is the original MVSX thing here. I could have used this right here. I could have just, you know, taken this off of here and used like a multimeter or something and, you know, just did it with this one. But I figured I wanted to keep all of the actual MVSX hardware intact so that at any time I could definitely just throw this back to stock, you know, if I ever want to get rid of it or whatever, which I'll never do. This is my baby. But yeah, so this is, like I said, and the headphone port's going right here. It's going to go right here. I'm going to put it in. It comes Wednesday. I'm just going to drill, stick it in here, and use a splitter. So whenever I stick headphones in here, if I want to play in private or my wife's watching a movie or a TV show or something, I could just turn this all the way down and then control the volume with the headphones, like on the actual wire of the headphones. So that is a closer look at the control deck. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the counters working. There is a couple pins I found on the MVS board. This is the MVS MV1C board, and the actual pinout of the JAMA connector does have 2 pins, one for each one of these, but I'm not sure how that works. I tried to find a wiring diagram for it, and I found that there are parts that just connect to it on other pins, essentially on the actual board themselves. But whoever had this before, you know, this one came, this C-box that you saw inside of it, that one came from AliExpress. You know, maybe they just desoldered it and took that off of there. So I haven't got a chance to actually explore it anymore. And plus the parts don't match the size. I would have to alter the deck, which again, I don't want to do, you know, by just to fit those actual MVS parts inside of there. So right now they're just kind of grayed out. You know, it's cool with me. I just look at the actual counters on the screen, how many credits you have right there for. And yeah, there's really no difference. So thank you for joining me in another episode of In the Arcade. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the MVSX Pro. If you're wondering why the hell I gutted an MVSX and not just purchased a Wii-cade or a wooden structure and just built my own, it was because when I first purchased Unico's MVSX, I didn't know anything about arcades at all. I didn't realize even how much I missed the arcade. So I used this product as a jumping point, I guess you could say, or a launching pad, whatever, to like learn all the stuff about the encoder boards, how the buttons are wired up, everything, absolutely everything that you can imagine that you saw in here, I learned from just trying at LCD controller boards. I didn't even know what the hell that was, so I had to learn all of that stuff. And yeah, Unico created an absolutely awesome product. As I mentioned before, I love the MVSX. It's just I'm a pen tester and I'm a hacker, so I just make shit do what it's not supposed to do all the time, or make the experience better, in this case much better. In fact, Unico even asked me in an email once, what can we do to make the MVSX better? Unico, make one of these that somebody could just slide a C-box into the back and cut a hole in the back of it so they could just change the cartridges in and out of it. They, you know, sell it for cheaper and just have all the hookups and everything right into it. That'd be pretty sweet. I don't know why anyone has not made that yet. That's pretty cool. There's something fantastic and I don't know, unexplainable about playing real hardware. It's just something about it's just awesome. So anyways, this product actually went through a lot of, the MVSX Pro went through a lot of phases. The first phase obviously was stock, and then I tried the RetroPie, I put in my Arcade Stick Pro hardware in there, which turned out to be way too slow. And then I put a Raspberry Pi in there, and that experience was terrible. I don't recommend anyone using RetroPie or any of that stuff. It was really bad for so many reasons. And then I tried, well, there was one good aspect of that. I was able to play my Neo Geo Pocket games on here. I only own one, actually I own two, Samurai Showdown, and I have Neo Turf Masters. I was able to play those on here in crystal clear 4x3, which was killer. That was the best part about the RetroPie. But I just wanted real hardware in it, so that's why I designed this. Hope you like it. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. I essentially arcadized a consolized MVS. I understand that. I didn't want to buy just an MVS board and just like screw it down inside of here because, first of all, I would have to do the NeoBIOS hack, which I'm not sure if you may have seen the footage or not. Right now it's 3.3 inside of here. I have the NeoBIOS master. I just need to do the hack. I'll make that another video. But I'd also have to do the stereo mod and a couple other mods and get the JAMA and everything connected up. I just thought, forget it. AliExpress, these things are cheap. So I just bought a C-box and just arcadized a consolized MVS, essentially. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what you guys want to see. I understand I came from a car channel, you know, like I still love my car. It's just in the winter time, I couldn't even get the damn thing out of the driveway. I was sliding all over the place. I was marooned here in my house, essentially. Rear-wheel drive in the snow. So I relied very heavily on delivery services this winter. Yeah, so I have a boatload of games. I've been slowly switching my games over to MVS from AES, and so I have a lot of games to review. So if you want to see me do some playing and reviewing, that's pretty cool. Just let me know what you'd like to see. Thank you again for joining me. If you like what you see, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to see, Challenger mods, and you want to see gaming stuff like this, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you want to see that kind of crap, just please subscribe and hit that stupid bell for me. It'd really help me out. So thank you so much to everybody, all my followers and everything. You guys are the best. Thank you for the suggestions. Those little caps, those are super awesome. All of your suggestions have been awesome, actually. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great night.